Controlling Invasive Privet Hedge. William Hovey Smith, 2025.
This is Hovey Smith, the Backyard Sportsman. And today we're going to talk about trying to suppress privet hedge, which is an invasive shrub introduced into the U.S. by English colonists and has been here ever since. And it is prolific. It has numerous small seed which birds carry. It will also sprout from the roots. And it was typically planted to provide privacy around outhouses and gardens and other things, but has to be continuously mowed or suppressed, or it will literally take over absolutely everything, particularly when assisted with our native and imported vines that we have here in the Southeast. And if you live in an old home like I do, you got all of it. So, I have wisteria vine, and some of these things are nearly 4 inches in diameter. I have this privet hedge that grows and bends over and sprouts around the roots of my trees, around the edge of my houses, and everywhere else that we have to continually mow and suppress. It will react to poison. You can poison it, but if you do, you poison everything else around it. So don't want to do that all the time. And it's a general pain. Well, I've been working with this junk for years now, and there are some useful methods of working with it, particularly if you have big stuff and it's very seriously overgrown. And I want to take you through some of that.
This burn pile behind me consists of leaves raked up from under an old pear tree I'm trying to save. And piled on top of that is privet hedge. And you'll see the original infestation in a little bit. And I've been dragging out pieces of it from around that pear tree and chopping it up, breaking it up, and putting it on top of the burn pile. Now, the most effective method I have found is to take the hedge and cut it into about 3 to 4 foot pieces and take the smaller branches and actually break them up in the hands and make a sort of packet of it. And then put these on top of the pile. You'll see the little more leafy portions up there. Those are some of the packets I prepared, and we'll show you some of those in detail when I do another one. But this is being prepared to burn. It's a cloudy day today, but it's very dry. And so I'm going to have to wait until we get some rain in the forecast, and that'll be 2 days from now. And then I'll have my pile and I'll burn it, and then with wet ground it'll be a much safer burn. The privet hedge's partner in crime is this wisteria vine. And you can see off this single vine, off this section I have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 very long tendrils leading off of it, which trail off behind me 6 feet. So you can see how this entangles everything and makes it more difficult, and you'll see it in place in a little bit. But the idea is to cut this into sections that we can put it on the pile. You don't throw this on whole. Otherwise you'll be gathering up the ends and putting back on the pile and putting back on the pile forever. You want to cut it in about, as I say, 3 to 4 foot sections. Take these vines and coil them up or wind them up or somehow condense them. And that way you can put them more compactly on the pile and have them burn. The first thing I'm going to do with cutting is on this wisteria, cut all these little small vines off. They will cut easier, quicker, cleaner, and more safely while they attach to the main vine, and there's enough mass in here to hold the work sort of still while you work on it. did not take very long. That did good. And we'll cut this piece of wisteria too, because it's just in the way. Okay, that's free. I have cut and broken this viney stuff up into a bundle, and so now this will lay on the pile and burn much better. Now we're going to cut this wisteria. Okay. All right, this can go in the pile. While the pile is still bundled, I'm going to go ahead and cut it. Trying to take care about what you do with your feet. You want to keep them out of the way. And this thing will bite. It will bite very badly. And if it does, you'll probably be down for a month. And you don't want to do that. Okay, success. Something like this can go straight on the pile. These longer ones you want to break up, consolidate. About 3/8 inches, about as much as I can easily break by hand. If you were stronger, I'm sure you could do better, but that's about it for me. Oh. All right, so we're going to entangle this and do the same with it. We now have all of that material cut, folded, compacted, and stacked up on the burn pile. And this is a seed pod. And this belongs to the wisteria vine. And you want to make very sure these are burned. Now this is why I just don't haul all this mess off and dump it somewhere. Because I don't want these vines proliferating all over my farm. My new book, Using AI to Make Your Own Jobs Anytime, Anywhere, at Any Age, is now at the publisher. And it will be available in about 3 months or perhaps sooner. In the meantime, I have a similar book, the older version, which is Make Your Own Job Anytime, Any Place, at any age, available as an audio book. And this you can get from Amazon.com today if you need something right now that's similar. For those of you who don't know me, I've written some 20 books, several of which are business books, but also outdoor books, novels, and prize-winning screenplays. So we've been at this business for a while. Here is a typical tangle of privet hedge and wisteria that has the added complication of having this limb down on top of everything, which doesn't help very much. And it is mostly cut through. And drop it and see if I can cut it again and extract it. Because I don't want to work under that limb, which weighs, well, probably 1,000 pounds or better. I've cut enough of the privet hedge and the wisteria vine so I can extract some and get close enough to that chinaberry tree so that I can cut another section out of it. Ultimately, when I get closer to the top, I'll see if I can pull actually the rest of the top out with the truck. I believe that did some good. When you get to the areas where the wisteria tops and the vines are so entangled as to be physically impossible to separate, I save these for the last, and these go on the very top of the pile, of the crown if you like. And so that's what we're doing, and that's what we've got here. Yeah, it would just take too long to pull these things apart and for no practical purpose. So just stick them on the top of the pile. Well, our pile of privet hedge and wisteria and other vines has gotten so tall I can't really comfortably put anything else on top of it. So we're going to discontinue this stage and end this video here. But if you do have wisteria, yeah, you really have to fight it every time, every spring. And if you don't, it's going to take over. It may take it some generations, but it will do that. And certainly, never ever plant privet hedge, however authentic it might be. And if you absolutely have to get rid of it forever, well, 3 inches of concrete does pretty good. Asphalt works most of the time. But otherwise, yeah, you're going to fight it all your life, and the generations that follow you will fight it. So if you're opening a new subdivision and you want an authentic southern look, for God's sakes, don't plant privet hedge and don't plant wisteria vine, please. But now, this is Hovey Smith, reminding you to hunt what you eat and eat what you hunt. Be legal, be ethical, be safe. Goodbye, God bless, and see you next time. If you have any doubts about wisteria, well, this is a tree attempting to grow in wisteria hell. That poor chinaberry tree has basically been killed by that wisteria.